What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe, and welcome to this latest edition of the Chop Block Sports Talk. Last week, that was my fault. I got into a debate with somebody, and the debate just didn't. It took a lot longer. Let's just put it that way. At any rate, let's go ahead and let me go ahead and introduce you guys to my podcast hosts. As usual, pardon me, the usual suspects. Pardon me. Jay Blaze and Miami Jay, what's going on, boys?
What's going on, man? Well. Sorry, I will apologize ahead of time. I'm a little bit under the weather, so I coughed a little bit. My apologies.
That's all good. That's all good. We're all a little bit under the. I guess we're all. I've actually got sort of the sniffles, so I guess we're all a little bit under the weather to some degree. Real quick before
I had it bad last night.
Oh, did you really?
I had it bad last night. I had the chills, the fever, everything, bro.
God damn. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'll be fine. But just gotta get over it. Thankfully, I'm off this weekend, so
it's not the C9. It's not the C19, is it?
No, I don't think so.
COVID is the new flu, right? Yeah, so, COVID's. Oh, okay, sorry.
I think I just had it.
You think you just had it? Really?
COVID.
I've had COVID plenty of times.
First time I've ever had it.
All right. Pro Special says yes. Sarah Lennon says, did I go to church? Yes, I did. I went to St. Anne's Catholic Church right there in Las Vegas, Nevada, the very next day, as promised. So yes, I absolutely did go to church. Pro Special says, thanks for the webinar last night in MLD's community, Don. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So let's go ahead and get this party started. So what we're going to do is we're going to lead things off with the Soccer Minute. Miami Jay, go ahead and take it away, brother.
All right. So first off, prayers for everybody out there in LA. That stuff looks horrible on social media.
Oh my God. Oh my.
Well, I'm assuming we'll talk about the Rams game that's been moved to Glendale.
Absolutely.
So that doesn't bode very well for them. But anyway, we'll get to that. All right, for the Soccer Minute today, I wanted to kind of look at 2025, and the outlook for the U.S. men's national soccer team. Just kind of running through the schedule here. January, we have the January camp, which is essentially a D team. A bunch of, I don't want to call them scrubs, but a bunch of MLS players who, honestly, maybe one will make the World Cup.
Wait, hold on, real quick. You said I don't want to call them scrubs, but a bunch of MLS players.
Yeah, they call it Camp Cupcake for a reason, right?
Okay, that makes sense.
I think maybe if they're really, really good, one or two players out of this team might make the World Cup roster. I honestly don't think so. But anyway, they'll play a B team from Venezuela, then Costa Rica. I think they need to do away with the January camp in general. They've admitted that the only reason they do it is because it's in the TV contract that they have to play 2 games in January. It's not an official FIFA window. Nobody else does anything in January except the U.S. men's national soccer team. So yeah, I think we need to do away with this. It's honestly a waste of time.
Okay.
Then we have March coming up. That's going to be the Nations League, 2 competitive matches. We'll play against Panama, and then if we win, we'll play the winner of Canada and Mexico for the Nations League title. That one's pretty straightforward. That should be our A team coming to that. Pulisic, McKennie, the whole deal. In June, we have 2 friendlies before the Gold Cup. And in the Gold Cup during the summer, that should also be our A roster. That will be the last chance that this team gets to come together in a competitive environment before the World Cup. So the Gold Cup is very, very important for this team to come together and figure out how to play competitive matches under Pochettino.
Good. I actually like that. It's almost, I don't want to say it's like a warm-up fight, but it's, it kind of gets the juices flowing, the competitive juices going. I like that. It's a good idea.
Exactly. Yeah. It'll be great preparation. I expect the entire team to be there with the exceptions of Weston McKennie, Tim Weah, who will be playing for Juventus in the Club World Cup at the same time.
Okay.
And maybe Gio Reyna. We'll figure, because Dorman is playing in the Club World Cup, but we'll see what his situation looks like at that time. Hopefully he's gotten a move by then. He's out of Dortmund and he can come play in the Gold Cup with us. Then it gets tricky because then we have September, October, and November. And honestly, I see a lot of games between Mexico and Canada coming up in those windows. In September, more than likely, we'll play Mexico and Canada in 2 friendlies.
Okay.
Although, if I'm the U.S. Soccer Federation, I'm looking at Japan and South Korea because they should be done with World Cup qualifying. And the reason we can only play those teams is because everybody else is going through World Cup qualifying.
Okay,
Sorry,
there No, you actually answered my question. You answered my question.
Yeah, everybody else is still in World Cup qualifying. We don't have to qualify, neither does Canada and Mexico, so we're pretty much open. Now, Japan and South Korea should be done by September. So hopefully, if I'm, Japan is very, very good competition. Actually, I think Japan and the U.S. are in very, very similar positions right now and levels. So I think Japan's a very good test for us. They beat us before the last World Cup 4-0.
God damn. Holy
but
shit.
That was a Greg Berhalter-led team.
We'll see. That was that was the beginning of the end. Fuck that.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Then in October, same kind of situation, although South America should be done with World Cup qualifying.
Okay.
So I want to play Brazil and Argentina straight up. Let's get them scheduled because they should be done. They should be done with World Cup qualifying. And for the November window, Africa and South America will be done. Europe won't be done till early December.
Okay.
So we're not going to get to play Europe in 2025, but we could play Africa, South America, or CONCACAF or Asia. So pretty much a lot of quality teams should be out there for us to play and get our guys prepared.
Okay.
A couple other things to note. In September, we have the U20 World Cup.
And that means under 20.
Under 20, correct. Right. And I will say, if we can bring our best roster to the U20 World Cup, I'm calling it now, the U.S. could win this thing.
Really?
Because we have a very, very talented roster of U20s. Guys like, Kevin Sullivan, Diego Cochin, Cole Campbell in Dortmund. Now we have Mathis Alberts coming out of Dortmund as well. Very promising. Mathis Albert, man, this kid, he's 15 years old. He's in a very similar trajectory than Christian Pulisic was.
What about Freddie? Do you remember him?
Oh,
he thought he had a first round bust, man, right?
Yeah, that was the bust of the century, I think. The thing is, he started to believe his own hype.
Yes.
Now, Mathis Albert, though, he's in a very similar trajectory than Christian Pulisic. He's at Dortmund. Earlier this year, he was playing for the U15s. He played so well that they moved him up to the U19s. And he's been kicking ass in the U19s at 15 years old. So he's expected to make his debut this year or next year for the senior team at Dortmund at 15 or 16 years old. That's when Christian Pulisic made his debut at Dortmund as well. So let's keep an eye on him. I don't think he'll make the 2026 roster. But for the U20 World Cup, he's definitely one to watch because we may have a very good team for that.
Let me ask you this quickly before you move on. If you think the U.S. has a legitimate shot at winning the U20 World Cup, what does that mean for World Cups moving forward? Because if our team is that good at U20, what happens when they're over 20?
So you like to think that, okay, so when it comes to U20s, we're the best, but it doesn't really work like that. So unfortunately, it means nothing. You have Mexico was kind of in the same situation. They before 2010, I think it was 2008 and 2007, they won the Olympics and the U20 World Cup. They came into that 2010 World Cup thinking the world of themselves, and they got worked in the first round. So, unfortunately, it doesn't mean a lot, but it is a good indicator of the talent that we have coming up.
Okay.
I will say that. I would look at it more on an individual player basis than on a team basis.
Okay.
Let's see. A couple other things. Then Anthony Jedi Robinson. I called it 3 weeks ago. He was named U.S. Soccer's Player of the Year for 2024.
Okay.
Over Christian Pulisic.
What?
I'm telling you, Anthony Jedi Robinson over in England, he's becoming one of the premier left backs in the world.
Okay.
He is very, very good. He might get a move to Liverpool in this month. We'll see. I don't think it'll happen. I think they'll probably wait for the summer to bring him in.
Okay.
But hey, the guy's right now he's the best left back in CONCACAF for sure.
Okay.
Over Alphonso Davies, who was considered one of the best in the world up to last year. And lastly, in 2025 in December, and this is where we enter 2026 World Cup mode. In December, every team will be qualified for the World Cup, and we'll have the World Cup draw on December 15th.
Okay.
What that means is on December 15th, we'll know the entire schedule for the 2026 World Cup.
Wow.
I already know that the U.S. is playing 2 games in LA and 1 game in Seattle.
Okay.
And I'm already planning my trip to Seattle for that game.
Oh, okay. All right. Very good.
We'll find out who we're playing against on December 15th.
Let me ask you this. Do you think, and I don't know, this is, logistically speaking, do we think that the wildfires in LA, do you think the World Cup is going to be affected by that?
No, I don't. I mean, I'm assuming we'll have it under control by then, right?
Sure. No, but I mean, just all the damage, right? Like obviously Rome wasn't built to rebuild.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I mean, it depends mainly on 3 things. One, the stadium, whether or not it's safe. I'm sure I don't know. I haven't heard anything about the stadium being in danger. But second, the hotel infrastructure, but most importantly, the transportation infrastructure.
Okay.
FIFA will look very closely at those 3 things. And they have a team here in Miami and a team out in LA, so I'm sure they're paying close attention.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very, very good. Pardon me. All right. And so
2025 is a very critical year leading up to 2026, which, as we know, is the biggest year in the history of U.S. soccer.
Okay, very good. We actually have, Gregory Burke says the football teams in the United States Professional League are so weak, they would be hard-pressed to succeed in the 4th division in England, League 2. I would probably agree with that.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
With my limited knowledge of soccer, then I would probably agree with that.
I don't disagree. I would say the top teams can probably compete in the championship around the mid-table, not to win it.
Sure.
But the run-of-the-mill teams like I don't know, the Chicago Fire, yeah, they couldn't hold their own weight in the 4th division of England.
Gotcha.
I can agree with that.
Okay, very good. So our main topic of conversation today, we are going to talk about the playoffs. Bald Eagle says Chiefs. Snow Demi says the Broncos will win the Super Bowl. Yar. Now, here's the thing. Anytime somebody makes a claim like that, my question is, would you bet an amount of money that matters to you on what you just said? Because listen, love you, Snow Demi, but you don't believe. But I'll put it to you like this. Okay. Think of some of the greatest, what is the greatest upset in professional sports history that you can think of?
Giants, 2007.
Giants 07 Super Bowl 42. Okay.
Yep. I agree.
Maybe the 1980 U.S. men's Olympic team, the hockey team.
Well, in the history of sports,
Yes.
U.S. soccer beat the United States beat England in the 1950 World Cup.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that I did not know. So
in modern times, yeah, I agree with Blaze. The Giants beating the Patriots.
Well, the greatest upset in sports history of my life was when Buster Douglas beat Mike Tyson. It was such a great upset that I didn't believe it when I heard it. Obviously, it was on tape delay because they fought in Tokyo. My best friend Brandon, his brother Adrian, said Mike Tyson got knocked out by Buster Douglas. I wasn't shocked or surprised because I knew he was lying. I was like, there's no way he's fucking with us. And then, of course, we saw it on the news. Buster Douglas was a 42-1 underdog, right? And so, and I said that to say this. He didn't have a snowball's chance in hell in that fight, yet he pulled the upset. Anybody before the fight, the people just like to make claims like this. They like to say, I think Buster Douglas is going to beat Mike Tyson. Really? Would you bet on that? Would you bet an amount of money that matters to you on Douglas beating Tyson? Even the people who said, I think Douglas is going to beat Tyson, even they were surprised when it actually happens. So when Snow Demi says the Broncos will win the Super Bowl, I don't take that seriously. That was a long-winded thingy right there. Shane Will Win says the Lions or Bills with the Super Bowl win. Love that very much. Lions Chiefs with the Lions squeaking out in the final win. Lions Ravens Super Bowl. My boy Dan Campbell takes it. I don't think anybody would be mad at that. Let's see. Oh, they're talking about the fire. Okay, so, and we are going to talk about these particular topics, but I need to find, where is my, okay, there we go. But first we're going to start off with the coaching carousel. So at this point in time, I think there are 5 jobs available right now. So what jobs are available? The Raiders job just came open. Let's
Patriots.
see. The Raiders, the Patriots, Patriots, Saints, Jaguars, Jets, Bears. There's 6 jobs open right now.
6. Yep.
So let's take this team by team here. We'll go around the panel. I'll start with Jay Blaze. Who do you think is the best fit? Who do you think would be the best fit in Chicago?
So in all of these coaching carousels, there's usually 1 to 2 names, and they're the biggest blocks. And then once they get filled, everything else goes right afterwards, because those are the hot seats. I think Mike Vrabel is the biggest coach on the market right now. And the Patriots front office basically told Gerard Mayo and his staff they have 3 years to turn the ship around. We clearly saw that didn't happen. I think you do not throw even a bad coach away that you offered 3 years to if you didn't have something on the table. I think Vrabel goes to the Patriots. I think Ben Johnson. I think the Jaguars is very tempting for him because, 1, Florida, no state income tax, and he has Trevor Lawrence. And I think Trevor Lawrence, he's been like average, not quite a bust, but not anywhere near what we thought he'd be. I think that's very appetizing for a Ben Johnson, because you have your quarterback and you have the no state income tax, and I think the Jaguars are pretty loaded. I don't understand why they didn't play better.
One thing I like about the Jaguars is the Trevor Lawrence. You just said it. The fact that he hasn't been that great means they're not going to have to pay him that much.
That's right.
They're not going to have to give him this $200 million contract. So they can still get a very talented quarterback who's still young on a pretty normal contract, we could say.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll go ahead and finish your thought, Blaze.
Yes. Yeah,
I think right now the Bears isn't a bad coaching spot because they have a really good defense, and we have our feelings about Caleb Williams, but they clearly have a quarterback that's on the rise because we don't quite know what the potential he has, because I don't think he has the best coordinator or offensive coach. The Raiders, they need a quarterback, which is always a big thing. But dude, they have a tight end who was basically had the greatest rookie tight end season.
Oh my God, Brock Bowers! I think Brock Bowers might be the best. I think he might be the best. He might be the best tight end in the game right now.
Yeah. Saints, that they're always strapped for cash. I think that could be one of the worst. I think that's probably the worst coaching spot of this cycle. That they have pretty good ownership, but the team, they're kind of strapped. And if you can jettison Derek Carr and keep their rookie quarterback, I think you try and do that.
Okay.
But the Jets, the Jets are always a dumpster fire.
Let me quickly address this. Daryl Bradley says Bieniemy should be on the list. Okay, hold on, because I need to go solo for that. Daryl, love you to death, brother, but you are either misinformed or you're being dishonest. Eric Bieniemy shouldn't be on anybody's list. Okay. When Dan Quinn was hired for the Washington Commanders job, didn't retain Eric Bieniemy as the offensive coordinator. Where did he go next? He went to UCLA as their offensive coordinator. Guess what happened to him? He got fired. So no, Eric Bieniemy, and this is where I realized, I think the Eric Bieniemy thing, among other things, this is when I realized that I couldn't even trust completely sports media, is because everyone was telling us how great Eric Bieniemy was as an offensive coordinator. And nobody is pointing out the fact that he is calling plays under Andy Reid, who is probably might be the greatest offensive head coach of all time. So it's almost like they were trying to sort of give Eric Bieniemy the credit for being this brilliant offensive mind. Well, I'd be a brilliant offensive mind too if I were in Kansas City with Andy Reid. Then he goes to the Commanders. And as a matter, you want to know how good Eric Bieniemy was in Washington? They ended up having the number 2 overall pick in the draft that they eventually turned into Jaden Daniels. So he goes to UCLA, and no one knows where UCLA finished. He's up out of there too. So yeah, Eric Bieniemy should absolutely not be anywhere near anybody's list. Don't care what anybody said. He is not qualified to be a head coach. He's not even qualified to be a coordinator. Eric Bieniemy needs to start from the bottom like everybody else and work his way up. My bad. Go ahead. All right. So, Miami J, go ahead.
I will disagree with Blaze on one thing. I don't think New Orleans is the worst spot. I think, like you said, they have good ownership. I don't think Derek Carr's done. I think he might. I'm not going to say he's going to have a career resurgence, but he's a very serviceable quarterback. I think the worst place to go to is Chicago. If I'm a coach, I don't want to deal with Caleb Williams. I don't care. Maybe I'm biased, but to me, that's the worst franchise to go to because they're a dumpster fire anyway.
Yeah, the Bears are a poorly run organization.
Yeah.
By the way, before we move on to the next team, so we heard earlier today that Deshaun Watson, he has ruptured his Achilles again. And which means that he's clearly not going to be able to play next season. Honestly, man, I don't see Deshaun Watson. I don't see him on another NFL roster. I really don't. I don't think so either. Just all of the perceived baggage that he came from with the whole massage parlor thing. Then, of course, he signs, this gargantuan $230 million, guaranteed contract with Cleveland. He's only played 19 games, man. And so I think Deshaun Watson, I think that contract will probably go down as one of the worst in NFL history. What do you think, Miami J?
I would tend to agree. I don't know if it's worse than the Dak Prescott contract, but yeah, it's pretty bad.
Well, at least Dak is on the field.
Yeah,
well,
yes. or Daniel Jones. I think those three are probably the worst three contracts in NFL history.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think he's done. Maybe he'll end up as the third stringer a couple of years from now in Carolina or something. But I think we're done hearing about him.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
And listen,
come 10 years from now, we might see him with a clipboard on somebody's sideline and
remember
what could have been.
Honestly, if I'm Deshaun Watson, I would, dude, listen, you're set for life financially. You got $230 million plus whatever you got from the Texans in your rookie deal. If you want to be around the game, try to become a quarterback's coach or something like that.
I will say Kirk Cousins makes a lot of sense for the Browns.
Okay.
I think he makes sense for the Browns. I'm not sure the Browns make sense for him.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The Browns are a quarterback. If I'm a quarterback in the NFL, I don't care who I am. I don't want to go to Cleveland.
No. I don't want to go to Cleveland or Chicago. And listen, again, Caleb Williams expressed concerns, about the Chicago Bears. And of course he downplayed it because he didn't want to be looked at as a problem. But, that's just, now we know why, And listen, say what you want about Caleb Williams. The kid is a fucking freaky athlete. I think he really got a raw deal being drafted in Chicago. He should have pulled an Eli Manning / John Elway thing.
Yeah, he could have.
All right, let's move on to the New York Jets. So the New York Jets on Tuesday interviewed Rex Ryan for the position. Obviously, Mike Vrabel is going to be at the top of that list as well. Miami J, who do you think is the best fit, or what direction do you think the Jets should go in terms of their pursuit of a new head coach?
You're probably not going to like it. I don't think they need to draft their Super Bowl winning coach right now. I think they need or hire their Super Bowl winning coach right now. I think they need to hire somebody who's a professional, experienced head coach to come in and not clean house, but stabilize the organization.
Yes.
And then maybe promote that guy to GM.
Okay.
Or, somewhere in the front office. Somebody, I don't like this name, but somebody like a Ron Rivera. Somebody who's been in enough organizations to know the things that need to be done in order for the organization to run smoothly. Even if you're not,
Ron Rivera's not the best coach. Ron Rivera is not the best coach, but he's a culture guy, man. You know what I mean? He's not an X's and O's guy, but players love playing for him. Like he is a player's coach. That is not a bad idea, man. I had never thought of that.
Every time I turn around and look at my headlines, the Jets are interviewing somebody new. They just interviewed the head coach from Maryland. Like, what the hell are they doing out there? I don't know. I don't even know his name. It popped up earlier today. Whoever coaches at University of Maryland, they interviewed him. So I don't know what the hell they're trying to do over there. They're interviewing the entire cast of Cheers and Friends combined. I don't know what the hell they're doing. But I think somebody like that can come in and stabilize the organization is who they need.
They made a big mistake going all in on Aaron Rodgers and his merry band. Yeah. And dude, I think they took themselves back a few years.
Yep.
They need like a guy like Caldwell or somebody that could just be a basics guy.
Yeah.
Bring in the basics, get a good O-line and a defensive line, and then bring in your guy in a couple of years to like expand it.
Okay, very good. Let's go now to the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints, they fired Dennis Allen. Now, it was interesting at the beginning of the year. We thought that Dennis Allen had a chance to save his job. I think they started off 2-0. I think they boat raced the Cowboys. I think they dump trucked another team, and then they played the Eagles. The Eagles went in there. The Eagles went in there, and listen, it was an ugly game, but we bludgeoned them time after time after time. Then Saquon breaks the 65-yarder, and the New Orleans Saints have not been the same since. So, Jay Blaze, in your opinion, who would be a good fit in New Orleans?
I'm trying to think, because Dennis Allen, or Denise, as we call him, they had a really good culture with Peyton and Drew Brees, and he kind of ruined all of that. I talked to Level Up a few times, and dude, there's no juice in that city or organization for any of what they're doing, and they're always strapped for cash. The GM there just keeps pushing it off, and how do you bring the culture back? If Drew Brees had been like a quarterback coach or an offensive coordinator somewhere, I could see him coming over there to revitalize the organization.
Yeah.
He's a very smart guy.
Drew, and he went to Purdue, so he's got the brain power. And Drew Brees knows offense better than he knows offense as good as anybody, right?
Yeah, I could see that, but he hasn't done anything in the coaching. He's done the NBC announcing and stuff, but yeah, it's just tough because I'm trying to think who would be a good fit. And
in New Orleans,
in New Orleans,
I like Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson.
For
I like him for the Jags.
You like so you like Johnson? Yeah. Okay, all right. Well, why do you like Ben Johnson for New Orleans?
Well, I think they have an established quarterback. Their offensive roster is pretty damn decent. So he's not going to have to come in and revamp the entire offense. I think that having somebody like a Derek Carr who's a professional and somebody like a Alvin Kamara who's a potential Hall of Famer. We've talked about that before.
Yeah, we've talked about that before.
Sorry. Somebody like Taysom Hill, some pretty decent receivers. I think he could do a lot of damage.
I think you could almost run like the triple option with Taysom Hill, man. Like he is that type of dude. Reggie Walker with a great suggestion. He says Aaron Glenn as the head coach of the Jets. We know who he is. With Chris Spielman as their GM. He says Chris Spielman was secretly responsible for the hire of Dan Campbell. Now that I didn't know. You guys know that?
No.
I did not know that. Chris Spielman used to play middle linebacker for the Detroit Lions back in the 90s. That is very interesting. Pro Special says the Jets can do the funniest thing and bring back Darnold. Yeah, Darnold's not going back to the Jets. Even if the Jets offered him a ridiculous contract, he wouldn't take it because the Jets are a poorly run organization. Oh my God.
By the way, let me ask you guys this. If you're the NFL team looking to hire, do you take a shot at Cliff Kingsbury?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I would absolutely. Look, Cliff Kings, because
Arizona was a failure. But
Arizona
you could argue that.
And check this out. Arizona was a failure, and he had a losing record at Texas Tech, man.
And we're seeing what happened with Kyler Murray. Like, everything Kyler touches, he falls off towards the end of the season when Call of Duty comes out. And he just falls off. And
remember they were 6. What were they? Weren't they like 6-2, and then they lost like 4 or 5 in a row?
Yeah,
that's
and I think I like Aaron Glenn for the Saints job because I think he can somewhat build a culture. But dude, Cliff, like the guys loved playing for him. He just needs like kind of a because you kind of want your coach to be a dickhead and your quarterback to like be the soother, so they play behind him. Maybe Cliff needs an offensive coordinator who's a dickhead who just gets people like riled up.
Yeah, Kingsbury
and
is not confrontational. Reggie Walker says Kingsbury is not a leader of men, but an X's and O's genius. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think Aaron Glenn for the Saints job.
Okay, Aaron Glenn for the Saints job. Okay, the next job. Oh, wait a minute. Looks like the Cotton Bowl has started. Oh crap. Let me. All right, there we go. There we are. All right. Okay, the next job that is up for grabs. So we've gone through the Bears, the Jets, the Saints. Let's go to Tennessee. Let's talk about No, the Tennessee Titans did not fire their coach, did they?
No, I don't think they did.
Jesus Christ, I'm all over the fucking place. Jacksonville Jaguars. Miami J, who is your pick for the Jaguars? Miami J?
Sorry, I was muted. I said Joe Brady.
Low key. I like that.
I like that too. I think he might be the type of guy who can get the best out of Lawrence, and they're gonna have to do that too in order to be successful at any rate. So
let me just divert here for just a little bit before we go to Jay Blaze for his pick, because I think he commented on this earlier. What do we think? What do we think of Trevor Lawrence at this point? Like, listen, he's to this point, he's at a very mediocre type career. Listen, he won the national championship in college as a true freshman. And then of course he got boat raced in the national championship game, against Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, et cetera, et cetera. So what's the opinion? What's your opinion on Trevor Lawrence? Jay Blaze, you fire first.
So this is an interesting one because, dude, think about the life of Trevor Lawrence. He's a good-looking guy who got a smoke show girlfriend in high school. He won in high school, went to the college, won as a freshman at Clemson. And dude, what struggles has this man had? I don't think he has the heart of a lion, because look at what Tom Brady went through.
Yes.
And you like Sam Darnold, you say what you will about him, but he will never take anything for granted again after going the Jaguars and the Panthers.
Yeah.
You cannot say that about Trevor Lawrence. Yeah. Like, dude, kick him the nuts a few times. Like, keep him humble or something. Like, he needs something to bring him back down, I would assume, and just say, yo, I don't know about him, but he, like, you could try a Joe Brady or a Ben Johnson and see how well that goes. It's interesting.
Okay.
I definitely think you need. Yeah, he's talented for sure. Look, this guy may be the highest rated quarterback to come out of college since Andrew Luck.
Yeah, right.
So,
John Elway, Andrew Luck. Yeah, like those kinds of
Yeah, the talent is there. We know that. I think he was thrown into a crappy situation in Jacksonville to begin with.
Yeah, Urban Meyer, that was a fucking disaster. Holy shit.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love Urban Meyer, but he's not good for the NFL. He's a college coach.
Yeah.
I think he needs a coach that's gonna kick him in the ass and make him see that he's not hot shit.
Yeah.
Bring his ego down, because even though he's had 3-4 losing seasons by now, the kid's got an ego the size of freaking Manhattan.
You think so? Trevor Lawrence?
I really do. Yeah, I do.
Oh, wow. I don't
Did you ever see there's this thing that Trent Dilfer hosts for high school kids.
Oh,
it's like the top 10 something or other. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence was on that show. Yeah. I saw that a few years ago. And the kid was just cocky as all hell. I remember that was the first time I saw Trevor Lawrence. Yeah.
Wow. I did not know. And it actually makes sense. And listen, Jay Blaze actually made a very good point. he really hasn't had to, and don't get me wrong, he is hyper uber talented. Like, we know he's got the talent, he's got the arm, he's got the gift, he's got all of that. But because he's never really had to fight, he's always been the best player on the field until he got to the NFL. And if you don't have that dog in you, if you don't have that fire in you, when you come out of college, you probably never will.
No, and to be honest, I think in high school and in college, mind you, like we said, extremely talented, but he was also the beneficiary of very good coaching and very good teams around him.
Very good receivers.
So he's a winner. He won everywhere he was coming into the draft, but he never had to fight to win.
Yes.
It was always a given. I don't think he ever had to put the team on his back and will them to win. I think the team just kind of went along and just rolled through everybody. And that's a big difference to, say, Peyton Manning having to drag Tennessee to a national title.
Right.
Or Andrew Luck having to do it in Stanford. Very, very different situations.
Because I don't think he's ever, read any of the Roman philosopher there,
Socrates?
No, it was the commander or the guy who had stoicism, Marcus Aurelius.
Jesus. Dude, yes, there you go.
Dude, Lawrence needs that guy. He needs to hire someone to say, "Hey, you're just a man, all right? You are just a man."
Yep.
He needs to just hire him and just say, "Yo, you ain't shit. Like you haven't won anything." And dude, it would boost him up so much.
You know what I would do?
Go ahead.
Here it is. You know what I would do? I would bring in somebody, a third-rate Cooper Rush, whatever. And I would bench Lawrence for Cooper Rush or for some mediocre second or third string quarterback. And I would bench him for the first 3 weeks.
Okay.
I would name the other guys from start just to see how he responds in practice or anywhere.
You want to know? You want to know what? You want to know who that worked for? That worked for Bryce Young. They benched Bryce Young, and when he came back, he was a different player. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, sometimes in Bryce Young is not the biggest guy, but again, Heisman Trophy winner, number 1 overall pick. You've got all of the talent in the world, and then all of a sudden you fall flat on your face. Then you get benched your second year. That kind of, and it gives you a new perspective, and it makes you work for it. We saw, and again, Jay Blaze mentioned Sam Darnold. He's probably the best. Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield. Like, this is the year of the resurgent quarterbacks.
Teddy Bridgewater.
Who? Teddy Bridgewater.
Not this year, but a couple of years ago. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You're 100% right. I just think it just takes a little bit of. You just need a little bit of a kick in the pants. Just have it taken all away, just for a little bit, and just give you time to think. Okay, if I don't put in the work, this might be permanent.
And do you hire? Say you get a new coach. Does he draft a quarterback in the first round just to put that fire under Lawrence and say, "Hey, I want my guy"?
Yes, because guess who that also worked for? It worked for Aaron Rodgers. They drafted Jordan Love. What did Aaron Rodgers go out and do? He won 2 straight MVPs. It happens. It happens, man.
Maybe not in the first round because then you have to pay him a lot. Maybe second round, draft a quarterback talented enough to come in and compete.
Yeah, like the Eagles did when we had Carson Wentz. We drafted Jalen Hurts, and that let everybody know, okay, like this kid is coming. And it became clear. It became clear when Carson lost the locker room. They were like, dude, you'd watch footage of some of the plays that he was running. He's out there scrambling, trying to look for receivers, and the offensive line is literally just standing there. Yet when Jalen came in, the offensive line definitely fought for him, and they still fight for him. A kick in the ego is sometimes all a player needs. Okay,
by the way, sorry, we made it 38 minutes without mentioning Carson Wentz.
I was just coming up with examples, my friend.
They brought in Mac Jones, but dude, no one liked Mac Jones. His own teammates don't like Mac Jones.
Yeah, didn't they call him McEnroe Jones?
Yeah, they just don't like him. So it's tough to say, hey, this is going to be the guy who's if you don't work out, he's going to take over. If no one likes him, like bring in a quarterback who's well liked, who can get people to ride with him. Dude, Mac Jones is not that guy.
No, he is not that dude. He is definitely not that dude. Ken Rose with the $2 super chat. Appreciate that very, very much. Okay, so what the next team that is looking for a head coach? So I think we've covered them all, haven't we? No, Chicago.
We haven't covered any of the Patriots.
New York. The New England Patriots. I am now convinced that of the job openings available right now, I think the Patriots job is probably the best job. You've got your guy in Drake May. You know who that is. You have a great owner. He's not impulsive. He stays out of the way, and obviously supports his players. And they have cap space. And I think they have the number 3 or 4 overall pick. I'm not exactly sure. So I think the Patriots is probably the best job. Jay Blaze, who do you think is the best fit for New England?
I think it's Vrabel's job if he wants it, because I think he had a ton of ties to the Patriots.
Yeah, he knows the building. He knows everybody in the building.
Right before the last week of the season, he changed his profile pic to him in Patriots colors. And so I think it's unannounced, but I think
it's imminent.
Yeah, he's going to be the next Patriots coach. And I think Drake May could be a top 10 quarterback next season, but of course they don't have much talent around him. So if you can have a couple good drafts and get the right GM, I think you could do a lot with this team.
Okay, very good. You know what? I 100% agree. I think Vrabel is the right choice. What do you think, Joel?
I agree with that. I think not only is Vrabel the best fit for the Patriots, but the Patriots are the best situation for Vrabel.
For Vrabel.
I will throw a dark horse name at you out there. That's Todd Monken, offensive coordinator in
the Ravens.
Up in Baltimore. Yeah.
That's
I think he'd be a good fit in New England. He's one of the few coaches left, and I think obviously that might be a product of having Derrick Henry, but he seems to be one of the coaches that really knows how to run the ball.
Okay.
And if you look at the division windows, the Dolphins are heading towards the end of their window with because Tyreek wants to leave, and I think you're going to see some instability there. The Jets, we don't know anything about them. And the Bills, they're kind of towards the end. Of course, you have Josh Allen, who's probably the second best quarterback in the league. Yeah. So it's an appetizing team to be a part of.
No, I agree. I totally agree. Daryl Bradley says, leave Todd Monken alone. Yeah, he doesn't want. Yeah, dude, trust me, dude. Listen, that is the only drawback to having a very good season. When you have a really, really good season and you just come out of nowhere. Dude, every team wants to pick. They want to take your coaches. The Eagles, we lost both of our coordinators, and we were not the same team. It appeared that we were the same team over the first 11 games, but after that, that was a wrap. Okay, let us discuss the NFL play. The playoffs are here. Of course, Super Bowl 59 that is going to be played down in the Big Easy, also known as New Orleans. It's going to be in the it's not even the Mercedes Superdome. It's now the Caesars Superdome. So we're gonna go through and we're gonna make our playoff predictions. Of course, this is one of the most exciting weeks of the year, which of course is Wild Card Weekend. Then next week is the best football played of the year because the divisional round. It's like every team is good. So let's start on.
Are we picking the whole bracket or are we just picking this week?
We're picking just this week. Yeah. Actually, you know what? We can.
By the way,
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say for the regular season, I told this to Blaze off camera. For the regular season, the standings are as follows: Donovan got 77 games correct.
Yes.
Blaze got 80.
Woo!
I got 83.
Do you see that?
Y'all closed the gap there at the end.
But that just goes to show how difficult it is to handicap these games. Yeah. Like there's a 6-game difference between us. Like that is incredible, and we picked dozens of games. That's actually quite something.
By the way, that's out of 138 games that we picked.
Wow. All right, let's go to the NFC.
A little bit over 50%.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean, it's just this is why it's gambling. The house always wins. House always wins. Okay, let's start on the NFC side. Let's go to the 4-5 game. Now, what's interesting about this game, for those of you who are not aware, the NFL has moved Monday night's playoff game that was supposed to be in Los Angeles. They have now moved that to State Farm, the State Farm Arena. where of course the Arizona Cardinals play their games. Pardon me, where the Arizona Cardinals play their games. So they're going to be playing that game in Arizona. And listen, Minnesota Vikings, their fans travel very, very well. And we all know that playing in Los Angeles right now, it's almost like playing a road game. So Jay Blaze, Minnesota going to LA kind of to play in Phoenix. Who do you think wins this game and why?
Can we just take a moment to, you had State Farm who canceled a bunch of the fire policies.
Oh my God.
And they're going to be playing in State Farm Arena.
Oh,
can we take a moment for that?
Wow. I had not even thought of that angle. That's exactly where it's going to be played. Yo, I wonder if anybody's going to bring it up, like on the national sports desk.
I tell you what, the Rams fans should be all over that.
Oh, yes. Hell yeah, they should be all over that. Hell yeah. I'm sure you're probably not the only one who thought about that. That's pretty good.
They should be playing this in Las Vegas. I'm just saying that. This should be played in Las Vegas. It's the closest arena to LA, and it should be in Las Vegas because you'd make so much more money than if it was in Arizona. I don't get it.
Yeah,
and you would have the State Farm angle.
I don't know why they should have played it in Vegas for exactly the reason you just said. They're going to play this game at
it's a slap in the face.
Arena. Oh wow!
And I have my theories on the LA stuff.
Do tell, man.
So
here we go.
So
I like this kind of shit.
So in Maui, the fire earlier, last year, you had, dude, it was like a blaze upon blazes, and you have the future bet is you have future cities.
Okay.
So they had a bunch of contracts for future cities, which is basically to make a huge technological achievements in this, and they literally needed it gone to build the future city. And what do you know? What happened? You had a bunch of fires, and in LA, there's a 2028 plan for a future city.
Oh my God!
And so you had the sheer amount of idiocy in terms of leadership that refused to pick up brush fire. All you needed was a few volunteers raking. And you had the DEI program where, Adam Carolla said it took him 7 maybe 30 years ago.
Okay.
And that woman who applied just a week ago, he's like, "Hey, when did you apply?" "Oh, Wednesday." And this was happened in the 90s. And then you had them not picking up water because of some stupid salmon. Dude, and if you look at LA right now, it's gone. Like it looks like a war zone.
Oh my God, it's insane. I've never seen anything like that.
Dude, it's wild. And so you have it completely leveled. You have no one with houses that can't have. I don't think they can have claims. And even if they could get the claims, they have no fire insurance. So it's gone. And so now they have the ability to make a future city. That's going to be tons of money.
Okay. All right. I like it.
This is just a theory. This is just a theory.
No, I like it. I like the theory angle, man. That actually makes a lot of sense. Now that being said, let's go to the field.
Let's underline that that's a theory, okay? You know me, I'm not a conspiracy theory guy, but I don't know. There's just so much money in LA. The citizens of LA are.
You know what? Kevin and I we were talking about that earlier today. We were like, look, what happened in LA? Okay, it's tragic, but do we really feel? I mean, not that we don't feel for these people.
I'm sure there's a lot of middle class people who really get screwed by the insurance. Most of them are probably like that. But then you have your Beverly Hills actors and all these other people, directors making $25 million to direct a movie for 3 months. We don't feel bad for those people.
No,
I think most of the people there, but you had a 90-year-old family who bought their home early in the 90s, who were probably somewhat conservative, that just all around them went completely haywire. And I do feel bad for them because their house was probably worth probably $1 million, where they bought it for like 100,000, and
Right.
they probably had no market because everyone's leaving there. Like I feel for them, but the Hollywood actors and stuff.
Palisades, the Palisades. Listen, I feel sorry for those that lost homes in the Palisades, but
you know who I feel the most sorry for? You know who I feel the most sorry for? And I've seen a ton of videos on social media about this, is all the animals that are getting screwed over. Like, people in LA have the craziest exotic animals you'd ever see. Like, these people were moving like a 500-pound tortoise. Like, what the hell's that doing in the house in LA?
I don't get it.
And some people are trying to move horses out of the way of the fire. Like, what the fuck, man? Sorry.
But this is going to be a very interesting time because you have so many restrictions on the building permits and stuff. So you're going to see a lot of the people that were super far left over there go, what do you mean I can't build my home? Like you have a lot of things that were grandfathered in, like policies like I did some HVAC where it was like you had these chimneys that as long as it was grandfathered in, dude, you have it in Australia. They have to build these homes to have 7-star like energy efficient what do you call it, where you have other houses on the street that don't have to fit those requirements because they were grandfathered in. You're going to have a lot of the like California homes, like the future city angle, where they're going to build all these restrictions to make as many energy efficient homes that are just going to like piss off, I guarantee, a lot of the people that want to stay there.
Wow. Jesus. Yeah, that is a whole mess.
I will say, I think California is probably if there's a lot of people that end up having to start over, quote unquote, I don't think they're going to do it in California. California probably, you just painted a pretty good picture, Blaze. Yeah. California is a difficult state to start over.
Yes.
I can see a lot of those people going to Vegas or Phoenix in Arizona,
Yep. 100%.
Which are notoriously easy states to start over.
Absolutely. And listen, man, we all know that people, especially in LA, I mean, I'm sure they love LA, but they probably hate the prices, the economy, the taxes, and all that other kind of stuff. And anyone who is actually thinking about moving from LA to maybe Phoenix or Vegas, I think this was the event that definitely pushed them over the top.
And if you have a lot of people that can't build their houses back, how red is LA going to get when you they do not want to lose California. They can't lose it because
if they lose California, they'll lose every election.
Yeah,
they will.
They'll be furious if they just loosen it.
You're not going to lose California because you lose half the votes in LA. California has to go a very, very weird direction for you to actually turn it red.
Yeah.
This last election where you saw the map of California getting closer, that was an anomaly. California is not like that. San Francisco is probably the biggest Democrat vote driver in
Oh yeah, the Bay Area. Oh yeah. Definitely the Bay Area. Dre Riven says, please don't send any more LA people to Arizona. Our market is too inflated as it is. Yeah, man. Yeah, hate it for you. Okay, let's get to the game.
Tell you what, we'll stop doing that when they stop sending New Yorkers down to Florida.
Shit, man, dude. Yo, West Side till I motherfucking die. I'm so glad I'm on the West Coast, dude. Holy shit.
I've been thinking about it recently. I lived in Arizona for a long time, and even just thinking about sports, it's so much nicer to wake up at 9 a.m. Games are already going, and then the Sunday night football game's over by like 8.
Yeah, dude, I
Sunday night.
Love it. Dude, it's awesome. Unbelievably awesome. And this is why I'm going to move my podcast to among other reasons, because football season is coming to an end. And I gotta get my channel some juice. Okay, the game. Jay Blaze, Minnesota kind of at LA. Who do you think wins this game and why?
Dude, Sam Darnold, his last game was really bad. I think he needs a big game. He might not need a win because this is his first playoff game, because he was with the Jets and the Panthers. The coach for the Rams always plays gets his team well. I'm going to take the Vikings. I'll just take them. I like the Vikings roster more than the Rams, but I think it's going to be close.
Okay, Miami J, who you got?
I think the people watching this game the closest is the Lions, because if the Vikings win, it's very tough to beat a good team like the Vikings 3 times.
3 times, absolutely.
Yeah.
So if the Vikings win, I can see them going all the way to the championship game for sure.
Okay,
maybe even the Super Bowl. Having said that, I think LA might squeak this one out just for. I think the Vikings are more talented. I think LA might squeak it out on an emotional, little roller coaster game, and they get trounced by the Lions next week.
Okay.
Because of the fun. I think sometimes those emotional things really play a part in sports. I think this might be one of those moments.
Okay.
I think LA is gonna,
sort of rally behind the team.
Yeah, they're gonna rally behind the city, and all these families and organizations of the players, they're all taken care of. Okay. I'm sure nobody's in actual danger. I hope.
Sure.
So I think the players will be, dialed
I do
in.
think that,
and yeah, go ahead, Liz.
I think this is going to be a home game for the Vikings, because I think the Vikings are it's going to be more Vikings fans in there.
Yes.
So I would say the same thing, but dude, it's going to be tough because, I don't think the Rams have a home game.
I'm going to take the Vikings because teams that are embarrassed, humiliated on national TV always bounce back and play much, much better. That's the first reason. The second reason I'm taking now, I would have taken the Rams if the game were being played in LA, but this game being moved to Phoenix, now LA is they're having to change everything. Their normal weekly preparation for a home game has been flipped upside down. Everything is different. You're going to be around different people, et cetera, et cetera. Minnesota just played a road game. They are built for I think 3 of their last 4 games were actually on the road. So Minnesota, the only thing that changed for Minnesota is their final destination. Minnesota is doing everything they normally do to prepare for a road game. And I think because of the preparation disparity in terms of normal, which is going to be Minnesota, versus abnormal, which is going to be the LA Rams, I think that gives the Vikings a slight edge.
I agree with all of that. And like I said, if I'm betting on this game, which I'm not touching this game with a 10.
Oh no, this is a stay away from game. Yeah,
I'm betting on this game, I'm betting on the Vikings. But I just have this sneaky feeling that the Rams are going to come out with some LA pride sort of thing.
Yeah, I agree.
And end up winning.
And listen, people and professional athletes play very, very well when they have a heavy heart. I'll never forget, Brett Favre's father died the very next day. Brett Favre carved up. He had like 500 yards passing and like 5 touchdowns. James Buster Douglas, when he fought Mike Tyson, his mother had passed away 3 weeks before. And that, I believe, is what fueled him to victory. So,
who was the receiver in San Francisco that played like 2 days after his kid died?
No, he didn't. He was not a receiver, and he didn't play 2 days after his kid died. He's a cornerback, and his name is Charvarius Ward. He actually took 2 weeks off. Took 2 weeks off. Yeah. That dude, your kid dying. I don't know.
Yeah,
dude, that's heavy shit, man. That is heavy shit. So I understand. I understand that. Gregory Burke, member for 41 months, says that you got me over 3 years of entertainment, Donovan. Absolutely, man. Appreciate that.
Hey, it's not entertainment. It's education.
It's edutainment. It's
edutainment.
It can either be it can either be edutainment or intercation.
Dude, I gotta tell you, I've turned on so many. Like, I recently went to work at a dealership, and I've turned on so many people to your channel because there's all these young kids, these 19, 20-year-olds working there, and they're all telling me about their relationship troubles and all these things. I'm like, dude, go read these 3 books. Go watch this guy on YouTube. And so yeah, your audience might go up by 5 in the next couple of weeks.
Dude, I remember this one guy who had some relationship issues, and I gave him Donovan's channel, and he's like, dude, it's actually working. Like, he's just putting his girl in the place, and he's going, she loves it.
Yeah,
it's wild.
Well, hey, that's
there's this kid, bro, good-looking guy, like he's got his shit together, blah blah blah. His girl is still in college, lives with him, but she's on a school trip right now to the Galapagos Islands.
Oh wow!
And
Wow.
apparently she posted a provocative photo on Instagram, etc. And he tells me the story of how they've been fighting over the phone for the last 3 days. I'm like, dude, she's half a world away. Just put her shit out the door and go watch Donovan Sharpe. Is what I keep telling him. But
no, that is a very good idea. Yeah, like, subscribe, and share, and hopefully you will stay subscribed to the channel. The next game we are going to talk about and delve into, very interesting 6-3 matchup. We have the presumptive NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year, Jaden Daniels, going on the road to Tampa to face Baker and the NFC South champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Jay Blaze, how do you see this one going?
So I think the Redskins are kind of playing with house money, and that, like, I think they're a year ahead of schedule, and then the Buccaneers, they were in their window, then they left their window, and then they went to a window down a ways in their house. And so I will take the Buccaneers, but dude, this game's going to be wild, and I think Baker, it's going to rest all on Baker. If Baker can have a crazy game, I think it's going to be the Buccaneers, but I think the Redskins are, I'm going to take the Bucks.
Okay. Miami J, how do you see this one going?
I think if there's a dangerous team that nobody's looking at in the NFC, I think it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think we probably don't believe it, but I think he believes it. I think Baker Mayfield believes this is his time.
Yes.
I honestly think, like, you can see it in the way he's playing.
Last year when they lost to the Lions in the playoffs, Baker was devastated because he actually thought they were going to win the game.
Yep. But I think he and Mike Evans too. I think both of them believe this is their time. And honestly, when you have a mentality like that, you're hard to stop, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and like Blaze said, I agree with Blaze that the Commanders or the Redskins. I refuse to call them the damn Commanders. The Redskins are the house.
Let's forget.
So it's good for Jaden Daniels that he made it this far in his rookie year, but I think this is it for them.
Yeah, at some point, the party is over. CJ Stroud won Offensive Rookie of the Year. He actually won a playoff game last year before they went up to Baltimore and got handled by Lamar and the Birds. Yeah, I'm going to go 3 for 3 here. I think Baker definitely get the win. This will be Jaden Daniels' first career playoff game. And listen, he could thrive. I mean, he's done well all season long, but when you get into the playoffs, it's a different kind of speed. And I remember, I think we've talked about this before. I've heard guys in the NFL talk about games being played at 3 different speeds. There's regular season speed, there's division speed, and then there's playoff speed. And playoff speed is playoff speed is a lot faster than divisional or even regular season speed. So, yeah, I hope it'll be a good game, but I agree with you. I think not only does Baker believe that he's going to do it, I think he's on a fucking mission. I think Baker Mayfield is on a mission, and I don't think
those are very, very dangerous players.
Very dangerous teams. Let's see. No, you're good. Ken Rose has gifted a Donovan Sharpe membership. So as soon as I see who that is,
Morgan Jones.
I'll let that know. Okay. Oh, thank you. Let me so everybody can see. Armando Moreno says, I somewhat disagree with that. I mean, how many times have the Cowboys got embarrassed this season, and did they ever come back and play better? Absolutely not. I'm sorry. I guess I should preface when good teams are humiliated on national TV, they tend to bounce back.
Not the Cowboys.
Yeah, Dallas they were not a good team this season.
No, they weren't.
Good observation. Okay, and the last game of the NFC that we are going to talk about are the Green Bay Packers visiting the Philadelphia Eagles at Lincoln Financial Field. Jalen Hurts has cleared concussion protocol. He will start this Sunday. A.J. Brown has been dealing with a knee thing, but the team expects him to play. The Green Bay Packers are going to be without Christian Watson, who is their fastest player, I believe. So, Miami J, which way do you see this one going and why?
Look, I think it's been a year too early for the Packers. I think they've had a great season,
Definitely had a
but
schedule.
I think it comes to an end here. Definitely ahead of schedule, especially for Jordan Love. next year I look for the Packers to run that division. Honestly, I think so. Well, it depends what the Vikings do.
Well,
actually,
yeah,
that's
if
a
they
really tough
re-sign
division.
Darnold, it'll be hell.
I don't know. That's a tough division to call, but I can see the Packers doing a lot better than they did this year. Having said that, I think the Eagles win this one easily. And sorry, before we move to the AFC, I'll be right back.
All right, go ahead. All right, Jay Blaze, how do you see this one going?
So I think the injury to Jordan Love early on, I think that hurt them later in the season. And dude, their division is just crazy. You had the Lions and the Vikings. Dude, best division in sports right now is this division.
Yes,
but I have
the best division in football. Yeah,
I have the Eagles. Like, dude, they won on a huge heater, and I think they're still on that heater.
Yeah. I think the Eagles are going to win it too. I think we should win it handily. The Packers are without their game breaker, Christian Watson, and not only that, the Eagles just listen, man. X's and O's. We don't have to out scheme you. Because I believe that the Eagles have the best roster in football by a mile. I think the next closest is probably the Detroit Lions. But dude, we are stacked from top to bottom. We are stacked from top to bottom. We have zero weaknesses. Dude, our best defensive player this year was a guy who shouldn't have been, Zach Bond. He's the first team All-Pro. He's a tackling machine. The Eagles are just going to out-roster the Green Bay Packers. We have better players on both sides of the football at every skill position. Listen, I think the Packers probably make it interesting in the beginning because every team looks great in the first 15 scripted plays, but after that, the game starts, and I think the Eagles run away and hide on it in this.
Not just that. I will say, even as good as the Lions have been for the past 2 seasons, right? Every team here, with the exception of the Eagles, feels almost like a Cinderella team.
Yes.
Maybe the Rams don't. Like, the Eagles are the one team on this side of the bracket that we know that they know how to win.
Yes.
We know that they've been here before. They're the professional organization going into these playoffs. They're the ones that are going to put their head down and take care of business. The other ones are going to play with a lot more emotion, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
The lights are going to be bright, I mean, and, it's, don't get me wrong. It's, players try to stay away from, hey, I'm just happy to be here. But at some point, that that mentality does set in. And when you got Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata and Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens just leaning on you, man. Dude, Cam Jurgens, the guy back then, just leaning on you. Dude, by the fourth quarter, man, that's when Saquon goes to work and breaks those 75-yard touchdowns. So I think we all agree on that. Okay.
Having said that, they're not my Super Bowl pick.
Okay. All right. We'll go down the ladder. This is a very interesting game. So we've got the LA Chargers going on the road to visit CJ Stroud and the reeling Houston Texans. They are the AFC South champions. Miami J, which way do you see this one going? Who do you have in this one?
This to me, out of the whole slate, this was the toughest game for me to pick. And I actually forgot who I picked. Give me 1 second. I'm looking at my betting app because I forgot who I picked. I got the Texans at +3. This was the toughest game for me to pick because the Texans haven't been the most attractive team down the stretch. The Chargers have been playing very well, but I think at home, I think the Texans should be able to pull this off.
Okay.
Yep.
Jay Blaze.
I like the Chargers because the Texans have not been great on the late in the year, especially since they lost Tank Dell. So I like the Chargers because they have much better coaching and they've shown it, and they're just ground and pound, and you can win a playoff game at least with that.
Yeah, I agree with Jay Blaze. I think I think Jim Harbaugh's got that team. I think he's got that team rolling. They're battle tested. I also think Houston is definitely reeling. They've lost Tank Dell, and not only that, the Chargers, their pass rush over the last 6 games, one of the best in the league. Houston's weakness right now is their offensive line. They can't keep CJ Stroud clean. So I think the Chargers go into Houston, and I think they take care of business against the Texans. This shouldn't be an intriguing game, but low key, I think this game might be a lot better than we think. And the reason I'm saying that is because of exactly what Miami J said. It is very difficult to beat a good football team 3 times in a row. Wait a minute. The Steelers did beat the Ravens, so I guess that tosses that out the window. But now we're in the playoffs. And I think that the number, there's a crazy number, like 9.5. I think it even went to 10 at one point. I think it settled at around 8. I think this game is going to be a lot closer than people think because of the familiarity. So, Jay Blaze, Steelers, Ravens, who you got?
I think the Ravens wanted to face anyone but this team because I believe Mike Tomlin has covered every game but one in the past like 4 or 5 games with the Ravens.
Really?
And
wow.
The Steelers defense gives Lamar Jackson a lot of issues. And I don't know if I like. I'll take the Ravens, but I think the Steelers will cover. And I do like the Ravens because I just like their offense a little better.
They have a better team.
But I think the Steelers cover.
Okay, Miami J.
I will take the Ravens also. I think, like Philadelphia, this is an organization that has been there. You know that they've done this before, and they're going to be all business. Having said that, I think out of all 6 games this weekend, this is the most upset likely. Or likely upset.
I would agree.
Really?
I do. I think I don't want to say this is the toughest game to pick for me. LA and the Texans. By the way, no, that's in Houston. Never mind. LA and the Texans was harder to pick on the betting app, on the betting side. But I think the Steelers have a real chance at an upset here. And if they do that, they could go into Buffalo and do some noise. Who knows?
Okay, very good.
Having said that, I still have the Ravens. I still bet on the Ravens.
Yeah, I've got the Ravens, but I agree with Jay Blaze. I think the side in terms of betting is take the Steelers and the points. I think the Ravens win, but I think that this is going to be. I think it's going to be a very close game because it's the playoffs, and like these two teams, and I mean no one's going to fool anybody. No one's going to out scheme anybody. They know what your weaknesses and they know what your strengths are. They just got to go play football. So I think the advantage goes to Baltimore, and I do think they'll win, but I do think that the Steelers will cover. I don't think Baltimore is going to blow them out. This has been the game that a lot of people have talked about, like Miami J just talked about. A lot of people think that the Denver Broncos low key have a chance to go into Buffalo and upset Superman and the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. So Jay Blaze, who wins this game and why?
I think it's the Buccaneers on the NFC and the Broncos are the dark horses of this playoff season. But I think I love the over in this game. But I think it's going to be back and forth. And I do like the Broncos to cover because I think they're 8-point underdogs. But dude, Josh Allen, I think this is his year, and I'd love to see the Lions Bills Super Bowl. So I will still take the Bills.
Okay. Miami J,
you know what? Actually, Blaze is up to 9 points right now. I think a lot of that's due to the weather. There's going to be a lot of snow.
9 points?
Yep, 9 points.
Wow. Oof.
There's going to be a lot of snow on the ground this week. Given that, I like the under in this game, and I do like Denver with the spread.
Right.
Having said that, I think Buffalo will. I could end up one of these 17-10 games that is decided on a missed last-minute field goal or something like that. There's going to be a lot of snow on the ground, very cold weather, and mind you, Denver is a cold weather city.
Yes, it is.
But if there's 2 teams, I would say 3 teams. 3 organizations that know how to play in the snow is the Baltimore Ravens, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Buffalo Bills. Those are the best snow teams in the NFL.
Oh, the best snow teams. Yeah, definitely. Interestingly enough, all of those teams are running teams as well.
Yeah, anytime there's snow on the ground, I am not betting against any of those 3. No. Especially Buffalo, because Buffalo, you've seen the lake effect snow in Buffalo. That stuff gets crazy.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. And it gets crazy pretty quickly, like bomb cyclone type shit. Yeah.
And they love it. It's like in the summer when teams go down to Miami, it's 101 degrees and it's pouring rain. They love that stuff down there.
They love that shit, man. Yeah. It's almost like they want to play in the snow. They know that most teams aren't able to. Yeah, I'm taking Buffalo. I don't think they'll cover. I think Denver's defense is. I think Denver has like a top 3 defense, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, you've got Nick Benito, rusher the passer. Patrick Surtain II literally takes away one half of the football field because he is as good a shutdown corner as there is in the NFL right now. This will be Bo Nix's first playoff start, and I think that environment might be just a little bit too much for him to overcome. So I think I'm gonna go with the Bill. I think the Bills win, but I think the Broncos cover. They're the side as far as betting.
Bo Nix was Ohio State, right?
No, Bo Nix went to he started off at Auburn, then he transferred to Oregon.
Okay, I was gonna say, who went to Ohio State? That's
Not
a rookie.
CJ Stroud went to Ohio State.
I'm thinking of somebody else. Never mind.
Okay.
Because I was gonna say, if he played in Ohio State, the snow wouldn't bother him that much.
Yes.
But,
yes. That's exactly right. But Bo Nix he's no stranger to playing in cold weather, snowy weather. That's a different animal. That is
exactly.
Animal.
Yeah. Look, I do think the Broncos are still a year too early, but I'm the one that called them.
They are a live dog. They're a live dog for sure.
Yeah, they are for sure. And I just want to say again, I'm the one that called that they would make the playoffs.
You did, and you did call that, and I think your offensive rookie of the year pick was Brock Bowers.
Yep,
dude. Listen, even if it goes to Jaden Daniels, you still get the W on that one because, and honestly, I think the only reason why Jaden Daniels is going to win it is because he's a quarterback.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? He started out really hot, but I'm honestly not sure he's gonna. It's with a lot of these competitions, it's not necessarily how you start; it's how you end, how you finish.
Yeah. Well, remember he got hurt in the middle of the season, and keep in mind that the Redskins are on a 5-game winning streak, and they did beat the Eagles. You know what I mean? So
right.
Wait, let me look and see. There was one more topic that we were going to cover. We got all the quarterback. Let's talk about the quarterbacks and where they could possibly land. Armando Moreno says Bowers is a beast. So what quarterbacks right now are scheduled to be free agents? Because I really don't know of any. I mean, there's Sam Darnold. That's the big one.
I think the big quarterbacks to get moved, Kirk Cousins.
Oh, yes. Right.
Yep. I think Sam Darnold will be a big piece.
Yep.
Maybe Mac Jones, if he's not like a big name per se, but
nobody will care where he goes. I don't think there are too many. I don't think we're in flux here.
I'm looking it up right now.
Because I think the Raiders could be a big landing spot for either Sam Darnold or JJ McCarthy if they can get either one.
Okay.
I think Kirk Cousins. I think the Browns would want Kirk Cousins, but he might not want to go there. But Kirk, if you get the right coach, could work with the Raiders.
Okay, that's sort of like a bridge gap to maybe a Shador or a Cam Ward.
You know where I would love Kirk Cousins to go for his sake? Mind you, I don't think they have the work. New Orleans is not a bad team with Derek Carr, but I think Kirk Cousins will be a perfect fit there.
Yeah. I think that Kirk Cousins, whatever team hires whatever coach to stabilize an organization, I think they need to bring Kirk Cousins because I think like a Ron Rivera, Kirk Cousins to New Orleans or New York, that those two would at the very least stabilize the organization. Sure. We know Kirk Cousins is not your quarterback of the future. We know Ron Rivera is not your coach of the future. But if you want a coach quarterback combination to come in there and just calm the building down, get everything back on track, I think Ron Rivera and Kirk Cousins are a good pair in that regard.
I will say if any team has the balls to get John Gruden, I think you could see Derek Carr make a play to try and go there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
What do the Colts do with Anthony Richardson? Because at this point, I think it's pretty clear Anthony Richardson is not the guy. He is probably the best athlete of any quarterback playing, and I mean the best athlete. Like he's got the strongest arm, he runs the fastest, he's big and he's physical. I think he's the best athlete playing the quarterback position, but you got to be able to play quarterback. So is Anthony Richardson a bust already? Because this was his rookie year, and was it?
Interesting free agent here for you guys.
Okay.
Russell Wilson.
Oh,
Russell Wilson.
Wow. That's a good one because he said he wants to be in Pittsburgh. Now, Russ wants to be in Pittsburgh. Does Pittsburgh want Russ?
Well, that's interesting because Justin Fields is a free agent too.
Oh my God.
And
that's a good one.
Like
that's a good
Russ has been good, but he's made a couple more plays than what Justin. But is he that much of a ceiling? Is his ceiling that much higher than Justin Fields?
Justin Fields has a much higher ceiling than Russell Wilson, but a much lower floor. And that I believe is the reason why Mike Tomlin put him in because it worked. They were 4-2. Russ comes in. They go all the way to 10-3. And I think that the Steelers stumbling down the stretch, I think that the schedule is every bit as responsible for their because in 11 days, guys, they had to play 3 games in 11 days. They had to play the Eagles, then they had to go to Baltimore, then they had to play the Chiefs on Christmas. And you could tell very early on in that Chiefs game on Christmas, the Steelers were gassed. Like, dude,
they were tired.
You go through a gauntlet like that, man, it is not easy to get up and play on Christmas Day. But that's a very good point.
One key move I'm watching for the quarterback market is I think the Dolphins to get a damn backup quarterback, a real one.
Yeah.
Because Tua's injury history now with the hip and with the concussions and with the shoulder. Come on. Miami has to do something to back that kid up.
Tua is at this point. Tua is Joel Embiid. Tua is Joel Embiid light. Joel can't. I mean, listen. When Tua's on the field, he's like his superpower is his accuracy. I just like. I can't believe how accurate he is with the football. Like his ball placement is always perfect.
Other than the Chiefs, I can't think of a team where I saw as big a drop off when their quarterback was down.
Oh, dude, Miami. Oh, dude, they were unwatchable. They're unwatchable.
Yeah, unwatchable. I think they averaged like 9 points a game.
Probably not.
Jason Sanders had an amazing year on the back of Tua being injured.
There you go. There you go.
I think you make a big play for Mac Jones if you're the Dolphins because Mac Jones, because he's an Alabama quarterback and he has connections to their wideout, and he's a lot better than any of their other backup options. And I think the Jaguars, if they want to give Trevor Lawrence some push, they need another quarterback because Mac Jones is unlikable.
No, yeah, that's why they call him McEnroe Jones. Phantom 313 says they're going to have to trade Tyreek Hill. He burned his bridges with Miami. I don't think so. I think the Dolphins. I think Tyreek Hill talking about the fact that he's out and he doesn't want to come back. I think that was just the emotion. That was the emotion of the game. That was the emotion of the game coming out. It's after another loss, and Tyreek had a rough year, man. His house burned down, or I think his house was burned. Then he had the incident with the cop. Then Tua gets hurt. The team is unwatchable, and then they just get eliminated in the playoffs. Like all of that is just that's a lot for one person to handle. So I think that now they could trade Tyreek, but I don't think the Dolphins are thinking, okay, he burned his bridges. No, I think the organization understands. Just take a deep breath. Go ahead.
No, Miami's going to do everything they can to keep Tyreek Hill.
Yeah,
except like pay him.
Well, they already gave him.
Exactly.
They gave him his attention. Yeah. You know that goes.
I think a lot of the teams are realizing the wide receiver is not the biggest piece because look at what happened with Mahomes. He's won 2 championships since they got rid of Tyreek, and it helps a lot having a rookie quarterback with a really good wideout. But if you have a force multiplier, you're fine with not that big wideout.
No, I agree. I totally agree. And wide receivers are necessary, but you don't have to have a star receiver to win a Super Bowl. I think. Yeah. I think that much is true. All right, guys, that is going to do it. Oh, go ahead.
One last thing. No, not breaking news. No. Just one last thing. Let's make another Super Bowl pick right now because we may want to go Let's do one now before the playoffs start. So I want to write these down. So who do we got? Blaze.
All right, Blaze, who you got?
The game and the winner.
I got Detroit against the Bills, and I have the Bills.
Wow. So the Bills over the Lions.
Yeah.
All right, done.
I've got the Detroit Lions playing the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah. I mean, the way I think of things objectively, like obviously I'm an Eagles fan and I hope we go to the Super Bowl, but I always think to myself, would you bet on it, right? And right now, I wouldn't. Would I bet on? I would hesitate. I would hesitate a lot more to bet on the Eagles than I would with the Lions. That's why I know I think the Lions are going to make the Super Bowl. It's gonna be the Lions and the Chiefs, and I think the Lions pull the upset. Where's
the Super Bowl this year?
New Orleans.
Right.
It's in New Orleans. I think the Lions pull the upset in the Super Bowl because guess what? They're a better team. The only position that the Lions have, the only position that the Chiefs have an advantage at is quarterback. Dude, their running backs are superior. Their wide receiving core is superior. They have the better defense. I mean, it's going to be the Lions and the Chiefs because until you can beat number 15 in red in Kansas City, you can pretty much book, the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl. But I think the Lions and the Chiefs are going to be there, and I think Detroit's going to win.
Okay. My pick will be, I got the Lions like I had at the beginning of the year. I think the Lions will go, and I think they will beat the Baltimore Ravens in the Super Bowl.
Wow, that's a good pick. That's very good.
Yeah, I like they have by far, I think, the best running game in football. And in the AFC, with all these outdoor stadiums in the winter, you know what? I think that Derrick Henry is just going to establish himself and just run rampant over the entire AFC.
This is the playoffs where Derrick Henry will make himself a no doubt first ballot Hall of Famer.
Exactly.
If the Ravens do it right, this is where Derrick Henry. He's already a Hall of Famer. If the Ravens do it right, if Todd Monken does it right, Derrick Henry is going to cement himself as a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Now there's no scenario where the Ravens will play the Chiefs in the next week, right?
Okay, so the way it works is
if Denver wins, they'll play the Chiefs.
If Denver wins, they'll play the Chiefs. Right.
No, there's no way. Okay.
Right. Exactly. Because, Baltimore can't play Kansas City until they get to the AFC.
Right. Yeah, I think Baltimore goes to the Super Bowl.
Okay, very good. All right, very good.
Yep.
Now, the conference title games, I think it's going to be Detroit against Philadelphia. I think it's going to be the Lions and the Eagles.
Yeah.
And on the AFC side, I'm going with the 1-2. I think it's going to be the Bills and the Chiefs. But I would not be surprised if Baltimore were to go to Buffalo and beat the Bills. I don't think anybody.
Well, I got them written down, so there's no escaping it now.
I think Lamar needs a pretty good playoff run.
It is Super Bowl or bust for Mr.
I'll tell you what, the best thing that happened to Lamar Jackson in the last 2 years is named Derrick Henry.
Yes, absolutely.
By far.
Yep.
Could you imagine
Jalen Hurts was Saquon Barkley?
Yeah, exactly.
Think of how good Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen would be if they had Derrick Henry.
Think about how good it would be if they had the roster that Jalen Hurts has. Dude.
You know what? That begs the question. What is it that we're not seeing when it comes to the draft in running backs? Because running backs like Derrick Henry, like Christian McCaffrey, like Saquon Barkley, who would have some longevity, were the norm at one point. Yeah. When Emmitt Smith, Jerome Bettis was playing, Mike Allstott, all these guys.
No, Mike
What happened? Yeah. They still exist, obviously, because we have Henry, Saquon, and McCaffrey in the league. But what happened to everybody else? Why are they so frail? Why are they so frail now?
I think the game is faster. I think the thing is, I don't know, because you can't really like the NFL has really taken the teeth out of defenses. You can't really smack guys like you used to. Horse collar tackle, chop block, and all this other kind of stuff. It was a Wild West. Dude, it was Wild West back in the 80s and 90s. That's why I'm surprised that Emmitt Smith is still hopping around on his feet. The dude played running back in the 90s NFL for 15 years.
Exactly. So that would playing in that NFL, you'd think it'd be more conducive to shorter careers.
That's a very good question, man. I don't know.
So, we'll have to do a deep dive analysis into this.
Maybe
they need to take a film crew to check Derrick Henry's workout schedule, because he's doing something right.
Yeah. I mean, yes.
And how
that might be the difference. Jay Blaze, that might be the difference. It might be that
workouts and nutrition.
Yeah, that's got to be the difference, because I'll tell you this. I don't know if you guys watched the end of the Ravens and the Texans game on Christmas, but it was on Amazon, and they had like this cake, right? This this football shaped cake, and the girl was trying to get Derrick Henry to take a bite. He wouldn't do it. He's like, no, not going to take a bite. I got to stay with this. It's Christmas. It's a holiday. You just won. You're not going to take a bite out of that? That is how freakishly disciplined he is. And I think the players that take care, I think it's two things, theoretically. Two things. Number one, it's genetics. And number two, it's work ethic. If you have the genetics, some got Brett Favre, superior physical genetics. The dude was never hurt, played in 1,000 straight games. So if you have those genetics and you combine that with the work ethic and the diet and the nutrition, spending money on your body, making sure everything is good to go, I think that equals longevity.
And I remember there was a pitcher, Bronson Arroyo, with the Reds. He was with the Red Sox. Yes. Dude, always hit the weights, just had this freakish discipline about him, was never hurt. He was always like a second or third capable starter. Yeah, and just always kept to the weights and stuff. And because of that, like, he was never hurt. But now you have a lot of guys who they have poor discipline and training, and you're seeing all these soft tissue injuries and stuff. And dude, they gotta get back to what worked back in the 90s, because look at the NBA, dude. They're falling off a cliff because of the player management, and it's wild.
And yet one of the best players in the league is the oldest player in the league, LeBron, who spends over $1 million on his body every year. He's not in the league at 40 years old if he doesn't do that.
Nope.
And steroids.
Yeah, all right, guys. I was looking at the running backs coming out this year for the draft, and I don't see anybody that.
Ashton Genty's the only one.
Maybe, but he's even then, I think the highest rated running back besides Saquon to come out of the draft in the last 10 years was probably Todd Gurley.
Yes,
and he lasted what, 3 years?
And remember, he tore his ACL in his last game at Georgia, and the Rams still drafted him.
Yeah,
and he was still good.
Let me ask you: is the running back fall off somewhat because you have a lot of the physically superior athletes that are going to the quarterback position or the wideout position would have been good running backs because they know the payday is with the wideout and the quarterback.
That could be it.
That could be it too. Yeah, a lot of kids are. Cam Scatterby, that's another one.
Because you had Zeke, who's never really had a knockout hit. But he just kept falling off and falling off.
Exactly. No, Zeke was a home run hitter his first 2 years. Zeke was the best running back in football his first 2 years.
You think of Zeke, you think of Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
Guys like that. Yeah. Even Pacheco in Kansas City, he came out like a rocket, and now he's like
Pacheco, dude, he is I think he's the most violent runner I've ever seen. Man, that dude is just the way everything he does is the way he cuts and everything. I love watching that dude, man. I hate watching him against the Eagles, but God, I love watching
If I'm somebody like a Marshawn Lynch, I'm starting a rookie symposium for running backs where I make their agents pay me $1 million just to sit there and train them for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Bring in all the rookie running backs.
He's like, I train you, boss. I train you, big boy. At Northern California the whole time, son. Marshawn Lynch was another durable running back who was almost never hurt. The thing about Marshawn Lynch that I like is the first guy never tackled him. The first guy that made contact with him never, ever tackled him. It was always the second or third or fourth guy. That's
another thing I loved about him is he's one of the few players that I always remember him having a smile on his face.
Oh, yeah.
He enjoyed the game so damn much.
Dude. He loved it, man. Yeah. I think that's why he's still around. He works for the Amazon crew in Yo City. All right. I've got 11 minutes until my next podcast. I am going to be doing the Hard R podcast late nights, or at least on the East Coast. So I am going to take my leave and do that. Listen, boys, this was a really good podcast, and I guess we'll do this again next week.
Yes, sir.
Do it.
All right, guys. Take care.
Happy playoffs.